We're about 1 week into this year's Euros, and with the group stage coming to a close, we're really beginning to see some of the favorites dominate the rest of the competition. I'm talking a Germany or even a Spain who have looked great in their first two matches. But the team I really want to give all the focus to in this video is Portugal. They have been off to a hot start in this year's Euros, something that I don't think many people saw coming except for a few diehard Ronaldo fans, right? And I know their group is weak with a Czechia or even a Georgia and Turkey, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Portugal has been performing really well, and let's hope that they can keep this momentum going past the group stage. Now, of course, Portugal has a history of doing well at the Euros. Hell, going back to their first appearance in '84, this nation made it all the way to the semifinals, something that they have been able to accomplish 4 more times since then. And of course, they've got their 2 finals appearances, with the most recent being back in 2016, where Portugal managed to win the Euros for the first time ever. Now, you guessed it, they were able to do so off the back of Ronaldo, the guy that they have been riding to success for the past 2 decades. And I don't blame them. I mean, Ronaldo is like one of the greatest of all time. Now, the way that Portugal performed in that group stage, no one really believed that they would go on to win it all. They didn't get a single win in that group stage. They ended up tying against Iceland, tied against Austria, and then when it looked like all hope was lost against Hungary, Ronaldo scores 2 goals after the half to keep them alive and keep them moving. And of course, we'll go more into that 2016 journey in a second, but for right now, I just wanted to remind you guys to slow down, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. It really goes a long way. We're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. Every subscription is appreciated. All right, let's get back to talking about that 2016 run. You see, this brings us to the round of 16, where Portugal matched up against Croatia. And Croatia was a very strong team at the time. We all remember what they did 2 years later in the World Cup. But anyway, no matter how strong they may have been, they didn't manage to score a single goal against Portugal, which led to the game going into overtime, extra time if you want to call it that. And in the 117th minute, Quaresma knocks in a goal that puts Portugal in the quarterfinals in a game against, I want to say, Poland. Now, Poland game, Sanchez knocks in a goal early, but it still goes to PKs, where Portugal is again able to squeak out a win, putting them in the semi-finals, somewhere that they have been plenty of times, but half the time they don't make it out of. And in this semi-finals match, they had Wales. Now, Wales was pretty easy for Portugal. They were able to handle business. Ronaldo got them a goal, and they ended up winning 2-0. And of course, we all know what happened in the finals against France in 2016. That game was nothing but intense throughout. And of course, it ends in extra time with a goal in the 109th minute. And Portugal's champions, Ronaldo's legacy is shot through the roof, and it had never been higher. But after riding that 2016 high, 2020 wasn't as kind to them in the Euros, mainly because their group stage was extremely difficult. I mean, having Germany and France in your group, absolutely gonna struggle, and they did. They made it to the round of 16 though, and they ended up getting knocked out by Belgium. And after that, everyone thought, okay, maybe Ronaldo is done here. That might have been his 5th and final Euros, right? Well, they were wrong, because apparently Ronaldo is got this anti-aging cream or whatever he uses. This man doesn't get old. Does his play decline? Slightly, and we've seen that over these past 3 or 4 years. But this man is still playing for the Portuguese national team. Is it because they have no one better? I didn't say it. But anyway, he's playing for Portugal in 2024, and while his role has declined, he is still helping the team in many ways. Some would consider Ronaldo to be a liability or even a handicap at this stage of his career, but I don't see it this way. This man is a leader on and off the field. Hell, the entire team looks up to this man. They grew up watching Ronaldo play for their country and absolutely shine and become one of the best players in the world. Portugal needs Ronaldo on this team if they want to win. Now, do they need him starting? I don't really know. But you know what? They're going to do what they want, okay? Now, Ronaldo here has been pretty useful, has done his part and contributed in the first two matches. Of course, in game one versus the Czech Republic, Portugal got 2 goals, the second one coming in the 90th minute thanks to Francisco. They end up winning against the Czech, right? And then, Turkey's a little bit easier for Portugal. They end up winning 3-0. Ronaldo gets an assist. He could have easily had a goal, made him the oldest player to ever score at a Euro, but he didn't. He passes it to Bruno Fernandes, and then Fernandes gets the goal in the 56th minute to seal the game. And that leaves us with a Georgia match, which is coming up right around the corner. But, the reason I make this video is because Portugal's going to beat Georgia. It's going to happen easily, and they will go to the knockout stage, where things get very interesting. Now, as it stands, Portugal is most likely going to win their group, and if that happens, they're going to go up against the B or C in that third group led by England. And, right now, England is predicted to win their group. However, there is a chance they fall to maybe B or C themselves. And if they end up matching against Portugal, well, let me tell you, a game where Portugal goes up against England in the round of 16 would be nothing short of exciting. I mean, I'm rooting for England too. I've just made a video of them. You can go check that out right here, predicting how they're going to do in the tournament. But if they go against each other, who knows what's going to happen. I do have England in that potential matchup. But let's get more realistic here. They're probably going to go up against either Denmark or Slovenia. Now, both of these teams have had 1-1 draws in their first 2 games. Of course, the first one being against each other. And then in the second one, Slovenia tied 1-1 with Serbia, and Denmark tied 1-1 with England, which I feel like is more impressive. I would really be worrying about Denmark if I were Portugal right now, right? Because that's who it looks like they are going to be playing in the round of 16. And do I think that Portugal can handle Denmark? Abso-freaking-lutely, which would put them, in the quarterfinals. And once they get to the quarterfinals, anything can happen. If you remember that 2016 run, a lot of luck went into it, okay? Let's be real. A lot of luck went into their 2016 run. So maybe, just maybe, they can get far enough and then they go in the semis and they get real competition. That's where things start to get dangerous for this Portuguese squad. And let me tell you, a second Euro championship would go a long way in helping Ronaldo's legacy. Because of course he got that first one back in 2016, but he hasn't had as much national team success as his counterpart, Lionel Messi. Of course, Lionel Messi helped Argentina win Copa America back in 2021. That was the first one that Lionel Messi won. And then just a year later in 2022, Argentina won the World Cup, something that Ronaldo hasn't been able to accomplish with Portugal. Now, has Portugal had as good teams as Argentina? No, but they've been pretty solid. And of course, we can't forget that without Ronaldo, Portugal only qualified for the World Cup 3 times before. So they weren't very good. But since Ronaldo's joined that national team and played for them at the World Cup level, they haven't missed since 2006. 2006, they qualified in Germany, and then 2010, South Africa, you get it, right? Now, 2006 was probably his best run. He made it all the way. They got 4th place, and then since then, a couple round of 16 exits, a group stage exit, and most recently, they lost in the quarterfinals. And that might have been Ronaldo's last chance at a World Cup where he seriously contributed, because maybe he plays in 2026, but let me tell you, he'll barely be getting any minutes, if at all, right? Now, with Portugal in this year's Euros, he'll still be an important part of that team, and if he's able to win it, I feel like that boosts him up a little bit, and any Ronaldo fans who argue with Messi fans are going to say 2 Euro championships are very impressive, especially when you got a guy like Mbappe saying that it's harder to win a Euro than a World Cup, which is bullshit, but whatever. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Really just wanted to cover Portugal, how they've performed so far, how they've performed in the past, and what this will do for Ronaldo and his legacy. But like I said, that is about it. I think I've covered everything I've wanted to. I'll catch y'all later, and with the way the Euros and Copa America are shaping up, I will be making a lot more soccer content in the next week and a half, leading up into the Olympics. All right, like I said, catch y'all later. Much love. Deuces.